Hello, this is a video about the post office and about what a rotten job they do for their customers. I took my rent payment card to pay my council rent at a post office counter and got a receipt. My council then contacted me and told me to go and see them, where they gave me a lecture about paying my rent and accused me of not paying it for this particular week. I had brought all my receipts with me and was able to show them to them, and it transpired that they hadn't received the payment that I made for that week. They then had a go at me and told me I had to go and chase up this and that and blah blah blah, and worry and be distressed and concerned and bothered and all this kind of thing on their behalf, so that they could get the money that I apparently owed them. I happen to know it's the law that if I make a payment to them using this kind of thing, or anything really, it's supposed to be at their end to chase it up if it doesn't get received. If it gets lost in the post, somehow that's not the same, I've heard. That's happened to me as well, and a solicitor told me that they hadn't received it, so somehow it wasn't theirs. But apparently with a payment like this, the payment is in the hands of somebody already. It's left my hands and it has gone into the hands of someone else who's supposed to give it to them, and they're supposed to chase it up legally themselves. So anyway, they didn't give a damn about this. I told them, but they weren't concerned. They just told me I better chase up the payment and so forth on their behalf, or else, you know, my tenancy would be at risk. That was what they were saying. And anyway, so I was left with this concern, even though they did take photocopies of the receipts I provided them with, including the one that proves I'd made the payment. And so anyway, yeah, I went online to the post office. This is the Royal Mail, United Kingdom English Post Office, the official one. There are smaller postal groups now, fortunately, that are getting more and more popular, but at the moment this one's still the main one everyone uses, unfortunately. Anyway, when I say the post office, I'm talking about the Royal Mail, the official one, that I think is still in government hands, although people are continually wondering about selling it off. I don't care what happens to it really anymore, because I find them so, you know, bad, basically, with how they treat their customers and the service they provide. So anyway, I went online to chase this up, and I found the part of the site that says chase up your payments this way. And it involved me putting in various numbers from the receipt, including the receipt number and so on. I found my way through that just fine and clicked the final button, and it said to wait a couple of weeks. I got an email that said wait a couple of weeks for a reply. So I waited a couple of weeks and still nothing happened, so I gave it another few days. And about 2.5 weeks went by, and so I went online again to the post office thing, and post office site, and they and it said no further information really. So there was no further information. So I went to the complaints section and made a complaint. I made a very detailed, lucid complaint, including my receipt number, the date I'd made my claim or inquiry about the payment, and everything really. You just put in every detail you could imagine, very, very clearly. Checked it over repeatedly, because I know how difficult people can find it to understand things, even simple things, sometimes. And when I was sure that it was clear enough and precise enough, which was very clear and very precise, I sent off that complaint. Clicked the final button on that and sent that one off. I didn't hear any. Again, I had this email saying wait a couple of weeks before you can get a reply. Within a week, I started to receive advertising from the Royal Mail, which I have received regularly and frequently since then. Yeah, so they sent me a lot of advertising for their services, which I wouldn't dream of using. The reply I eventually got a couple of weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks later, about my complaint, consisted of informing me that if I wanted to claim back some money or chase up some payment I'd made, I should use the procedure I had already used to do so, and include this and that and the receipt number and everything else. So what they were telling me was that if I wanted to chase up my complaint, to chase up the payment I had made, I should use the procedure I had already made. And presumably, if that didn't work, which it didn't, which is what I had complained to them about, I should just do it again. Just use the same procedure again. That was their advice. Do it again. You know, and if it didn't work, do it again. And if that didn't work, do it again. Just do it again. Just keep doing it. Just do it and 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 keep on doing it forever and ever 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 and ever. Don't expect your money back. Don't expect the payment to go through. Don't expect your complaint to be dealt with by anybody who seems to have one single brain cell to understand a very, very short, clear, careful explanation with, you know, don't expect any kind of sentience or intelligence or sensibility or common sense or competence from the post office. Just senselessly, endlessly, like a retard and a moron and an idiot, spend the rest of your life using their useless, thieving system and just keep on putting the details in forever and ever and ever and ever and waiting 2 weeks each time for no reply, because I didn't get any reply. And maybe make the odd complaint as well, so that you can be told to go and use that procedure again and never receive a complaint and just keep using it. See what I mean? Their procedure for reclaiming my money didn't work, and their complaint system just told me to just use the procedure again. So it didn't work. So that's the Royal Mail for you. I have other instances I'm going to put on YouTube as well. But in the meantime, they've still got my money, which was just over £17. May not be much, but it's my money, and I want it, or I want it to go through. I don't want them to keep it, and they've got it in their system because it left my bank account. I got the receipt I had the receipt. My council must still have photocopies of the receipt. Since they haven't received it, I presume they just put it on my tab to be paid as a back payment, which I'm paying off endlessly. So I'll be making that payment twice, so the post office can rob me of the first payment of it. Do you know what I mean? It's thievery. The council, no doubt, is stealing from me. I'll chase that up as well, but I'm sure they'll do that because they're like that. They don't care if they break the law. I'll chase it up. I bet you I can make a video about them soon, about them stealing that payment, even though legally they're the ones who should have chased it up. They won't. They won't. They don't care at all about the law. All they care about is them. Them. And what they want. The law is nothing to those people. It's meaningless. They think the law is made by them for other people. They don't think they have to obey any laws. They think they're above the law. That's what they're like. They're the Illuminati. They're scum. They're just scum people. So no doubt they've just added the rent to my tab, which is getting paid off bit by bit, and will be paid off. It's getting paid off and will be paid off. No doubt they've just added the money. Just, I say just, you know, thieves. Just added that's my money onto my tab, taking the payment a second time. And the post office, meantime, have kept the first payment. It's lost in their system, which means it's okay. They can steal anything from anybody as long as they lose track of what they've done. I'm sure that's what they'll think as well. They're above the law as well. Everybody's above the law except the average person. I know I'm not above the law, People can rob me. The council can rob me. I'll make a video about that no doubt soon. I'm going to chase it up and I'll make a video about that. The post office no doubt can rob me. They have robbed me. And there's nothing I can do about it because complaints must be made online. And the online system just tells you basically to, you know what, off. Just tells you basically to keep making endless, useless claims which will never be dealt with. And so they're stealing from people, basically. And so they're above the law, which makes them the Illuminati. I think the Illuminati should be on my dinner plate. That's all they're good for, either that or in my dog's bowl. Their fat belongs to me, as people used to say. I think that's what people were supposed to have been saying during the French Revolution. Hang the aristocrats, they're fat. Because they were all fat when people were starving. People used to say, their fat is my fat and I want it back, or something like that, I think it was. So I've heard anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, we should hang them high, and I'm not kidding. Cherie Blair said she understood suicide bombers. You can find that online, Google it. Well, I would understand anybody who hung these people high, who hanged them high. That's my understanding. That's what I'd understand. So there you are. That's how useless the Royal Mail is, and how thieving they are as well. And I want my money back. And I will regularly update the description in this video for as long as I live to make it clear whether or not I've got my money back. I've chased them up. I don't expect to have to do that anymore. I expect them to chase me up now and to give me back my money. Otherwise, I'm going to call them a thief regularly till the day I die. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.